In this week's Parsha, we read about a terrible, terrible sin that the Jewish people did. They send spies into the land of Israel to scout out the land. This is a good land. This is not a good land. And the spies come back and give a terrible report. They say that the land is too strong for us to conquer. We will not be able to conquer this land. And God decrees that the entire nation is going to be punished. Everyone above the age of 20 is going to die in the desert. Everyone else will have to travel through the desert for an additional 40 years before they go into the land of Israel. However, says Hashem, there is going to be one exception. He says, Avdi Kalev, my servant Kalev, he was different. He didn't reject the idea of going into the land of Israel. Therefore, he's going to go into the land of Israel. He's not going to die in the desert. And all the commentaries ask, Kalev, what about Yoshua? Yoshua also did not go along with the other spies. Yoshua also did not deny the fact that Hashem could take them into the land of Israel. Why does the pasuk here, why does Hashem here only talk about Avdi Kalev, my servant Kalev? Why not Yeshua as well? What is a servant? A servant is someone, a slave, an eved, is someone whose entire identity is that of his master's. He looks at himself as really just an extension of his master. And Kalev looked at himself as just an extension of Hashem. He saw Hashem being attacked. He saw Hashem's promise being questioned. And therefore, he yelled out, he screamed, he told the people, we will be able to do this. We can do this. Yeshua did not. Yeshua looked at the situation and he said, look, whatever I'm going to say is not going to be effective. I'm not going to be able to convince the people at this point. So what's the point in saying anything at all? And the truth is, he was right that his words were not going to be effective. No matter what Kalev, Yoshua, Moshe, and Aaron were going to say, the people were not going to accept it. However, Kalev said, I'm an Eved Hashem. I'm a servant of Hashem. If I personally was being attacked, would I be able to remain silent? If my father, if my mother was being attacked, would I be able to remain silent? Will it be effective? Maybe yes, maybe no. But I'm under personal attack. How could I remain silent? Hashem referred to Eved as Avdi Kalev, my slave Kalev, because Kalev acted as if he was a true Eved Hashem, a true slave of Hashem, a true servant of Hashem. And when his master was being attacked, it was as if he was being attacked. Yeshua also was not punished because Yeshua did not go along with the sin of the spies. But Hashem specifically wanted to highlight Avdi Kalev, my servant Kalev, because Kalev went one step further. Kalev, despite the fact that it wasn't going to be effective, felt the need to reach out, felt the need to yell out and scream out that Hashem was going to be attacked. And for that he was rewarded. For that he's given this title of Eved Hashem, a title that Yeshua at this point did not receive. And that's something we certainly need to keep in mind. Unfortunately, we're living now in a time where our brethren in the land of Israel are under attack. And anti-Semitism throughout the world, God's nation, is being attacked. And we have to remember that we have to speak out. We have to defend our brothers. We have to defend the honor of Hashem. Will it be effective? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if Hashem's honor is being attacked, we certainly have to stand up and defend ourselves. I heard a beautiful story with Rabbi Victor Miller, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, about a letter he once wrote to a certain U.S. senator about a law that was being written that went completely against the laws and the moral that the Torah teaches us. And he wrote a letter to the senator thanking him for his support against this law. And someone asked him, he said, do you think that your letter is really going to be effective? Do you think that your letter is really going to accomplish anything? And he said, no, I'm not writing a letter for the senator. I'm writing the letter for myself. I have to remind myself that this law is something that is going against what Hashem wants. This law is something that is going against the Torah. And therefore, if there's someone out there who supported it, I have to express my appreciation, not for him, but for me. I have to show that when something is against the Torah and something is against Hashem, it's an attack on me personally. And therefore, that's why I wrote this letter. Every time something comes up, which is against the Torah, which is against Hashem, we must have that attitude. We must keep that in mind. We must remember that an attack on Hashem, attack on Hashem's land, attack on the Jewish people is an attack on us. And therefore we have to strive to be like Kalev, to be Avdei Hashem, to let it bother us so deeply that we can't help but yell out. And when we come that close to Hashem, when we're that close to Hashem, so then Hashem comes close to us as well. Have a great, great Shabbos.